Hey guys, it's Phantom here and welcome back to a brand new video, everybody. So today is going to be another top 5. A lot of you actually seem to respond really well to the last one I did, so I'm kind of trying to bring these back a little bit, and it seems like a lot of you do enjoy it because it is like one of the things that gets the most views and likes on my channel. I won't lie, they usually do pretty well, but anyways, today I'm going to bring you guys my opinion, my top 5 list of the top 5 most iconic dungeons within Wizard 101. In my opinion, of course, I feel like different people are going to have different opinions on what the most iconic dungeons are, kind of just based on how they remember the dungeons, and that's fine. But anyways, today I'm bringing you guys my list, so without further ado, let us get into number 5. Alright, so first up on the list here, ooh, let me grab these cattails, we have the Dungeon of Big Ben, the final dungeon of Marleybone here. I'm sure a lot of you probably expected this one to be on the list. I feel like this is definitely a favorite of some people, at least the ones who kind of have nostalgia for it, and honestly, I'm sure some people probably hate this dungeon with, all their might, because of just, the absolute tedious amount of battles that you have to do to go through it. But honestly, I think that's exactly why it's iconic. Also mixed in with like a little bit of nostalgia. I'm not sure why, but whenever I go into Big Ben, I feel like I enjoy it more than most people. And like, yes, the way that the dungeon is laid out, it's really dumb. It's just battle after battle and like floor after floor until eventually you get into the top and defeat the final boss. But it's kind of funny because most dungeons aren't actually like that. Like, there's side quests that you have to do, not necessarily side quests, but little side tasks that you have to do in order to contribute to the main goal of finishing the dungeon. And Big Ben, it really doesn't have that. I mean, there's like a few puzzles and stuff, but other than that, I mean, dude, it's just like battle after battle. Just testing out your brute strength on all the enemies until you just finally make it up to the top floor. And I'm not sure why, but that's always been a ton of fun for me. And also another criteria that I'm scoring all of these on is, in order for something to be iconic, at least for me, it has to have been around for a while and kind of just, I suppose, marinate in the grand scheme of the game, so to speak. Big Ben definitely fulfills that criteria. This thing has been around forever. I mean, Jesus Christ, when did Marleybone come out? I'm like at the very beginning of the game. That's literally the third world. It's been around for quite a while. I've always had good memories in Big Ben, and it's honestly just a ton of fun for me, and that's why it is pretty iconic in my opinion. Anyways, this is it for number 5, so let us move on to the 4th most iconic dungeon in the game. Okay, so coming up next is going to be the Mirror Lake Dungeon in Zafaria. Oh my god, dude, honestly, I don't know why I put this here. No, that's a lie, I do. It's simply iconic, what can I say? I feel like a lot of people might not actually agree with me, though, just because of their disdain for the world of Zafaria. And I won't lie, guys, I do share, okay, in that very same disliking of the world. I don't think Zafaria is a very enjoyable world to quest through by any means. I mean, sure, it looks nice at some points. Anyways, this isn't a critique of Zafaria, though. This is a ranking. And Mirror Lake, though. Mirror Lake comes in at the number 4 spot on this list. I think this dungeon, I feel like it's just super iconic for so many reasons. For one, the sheer amount of stitch gear that you actually can get inside of this dungeon. Just so much good looking gear. It's just got, max levels farming all the time, as well as for the mega snacks, too. It's kind of funny, when you join Team Up in Mirror Lake, you can, like, practically assume that there might already be a couple max levels in queue, just because of those mega snacks and stitch gear that you can possibly get. Actually, whenever you complete Mirror Lake, I'm pretty sure it's like a guaranteed 2 pixie sticks or something like that. Guaranteed 2 mega snacks. So a lot of people actually do Mirror Lake for that, so it's definitely really interesting. I know some people do follow that strategy anyway. But Mirror Lake definitely has some uses, but as for me personally and why it's iconic, obviously this dungeon has been out for quite a long time, and even though I don't really enjoy the world of Zafaria too much, I have always enjoyed this dungeon. I've always thought it is very unique. Like, in the grand scheme of Zafaria, we don't really have anything like this. And what Mirror Lake accomplishes, I suppose, for the story, at least in my opinion, is it makes Morganth seem like a real threat. So like in Celestia, I mean, we don't really get to know our villain that well. And in Zafaria, obviously we get a little bit more story, but I feel like Mirror Lake is just such a good ending, I suppose, to that story. It really just ties the knot, I suppose, and we get a lot more information regarding Morganth's character. So another reason why I think it is an absolutely awesome dungeon, and just for the sheer nostalgia that I have for it, it's going to be a factor. I mean, nostalgia is always going to be a factor in all of these, so definitely goes in at the number 4 spot on this list. I got a lot of good memories here just doing it on all my wizards, especially this guy. It was very monumentous for him because, oh man, he was just excited to be out of the world of Zafaria. But anyways, that is going to be it for the number 4 spot on this list. Let's move on to number 3. If I didn't include this dungeon on the list, I'm pretty sure there would just be an uprising in the community and my channel would probably be taken down. Waterworks, oh my god, dude. I can't even begin to explain how just absolutely I'm sorry. My mouth just like, can we just take a moment to oh my god, dude, this looks ridiculous. Anyways, though, Waterworks, I mean, just by far is one of the most iconic dungeons in this game. I don't even think I need to explain why, but I'm going to anyway because it is a video after all. So let's just start out with one basic premise that I'm sure you're all aware of. The nostalgia. I mean, the nostalgia of just farming this dungeon, just run after run after run, dude. Back when there wasn't actually a chest, and yes, there is a chest now. Back when there wasn't, though, and back when our wizards had just overall weaker stats, this dungeon was a pain in the ass to do. Oh my god. It was so bad. You would do just a full Waterworks run, and and there's a good chance that you would actually just end up with nothing at the end of the day. That's just your Waterworks run. That's it. You're done. But then, of course, there were the happy memories where I actually didn't end up getting some of the Waterworks gear. I actually haven't farmed this dungeon that much on a lot of characters, but I have done a lot of farming on this guy in particular, and I still haven't gotten those Waterworks boots. After all this time, I still, oh my god, still only have the robe and hat. Anyways, though, not important anymore, but it did annoy me quite a bit back then. But, dude, this dungeon, man, this dungeon, so there's the nostalgia. There is, at least, you know, for the time when this came out, it was definitely one of the most one of the hardest dungeons inside of this game, if not definitely the hardest and most challenging, and the gear was also the best, I think, for when it came out in the grand scheme of this game. Sorry, I keep saying grand scheme a lot, my apologies, but, you know, when this game did come out, it was definitely some of the best gear, if not the best gear as well. It really just changed the game. Like, it really just changed the game for the better and introduced a set of gear whose stats differed so much and were such an upgrade from the Malastare gear that people were acquiring back when that was the final dungeon, blah blah blah. It was just awesome. It was overall just a really, really awesome dungeon. Such a challenge as well. I've just made so many memories here. Oh man, I can't even recount them all, but I wish I could. But the video would definitely be way too long. So anyways, that's going to be it for Waterworks, though. Let us move on to the number 2 spot on this list. I mean, let's be honest. You guys probably knew that this was going to be on the list. So here we have the Great Spire, aka Malastare's Dungeon, aka the finale dungeon of Dragon Spire. I don't even know. I said this for Waterworks too, but like, you guys should already know why this is just so iconic. I mean, it's like, oh my god, it's a good representation of just the climb, the absolute climb of the world that Dragon Spire is. Like, it's just so typical, right, for a villain. It's so typical for a villain of an entire arc to just have a massive stronghold that we have to infiltrate, battle tons of enemies, and then eventually, you know, finish the climb and get to the final boss. Ah, man, but it just works so well here. It just works so well here. It's such a perfect end to Dragon Spire, and a good first end to Malastare's story. I say first end, we'll get to that later in the video, don't you worry. But it's just so perfect the way it's done, just how the story is interwoven, and with Sylvia and Malastare, dude, it's awesome. It's so awesome. And at the time when this dungeon had first came out, I mean, oh my god, dude, like, this was the place to be. Like, people were farming, oh my god, like, you would just, there were tons of people. There's people everywhere. Oh my god, dude. Like, it's just, it was insane. It was insane for the time, and you will truly never see anything like that, I feel like. Anything that special. Not to mention the fact that this is the Malastare's dungeon. Like, this is where you defeat him. I mean, the little child in me so long ago, yes, we're going back to the nostalgia factor. Oh my god, the little child long ago, dude, he felt so accomplished. He really did. Little 12-year-old Phantom, or however old he was, I don't even know. But he felt so accomplished when he actually somehow made it through this dungeon, defeated Malistaire, the guy that he saw in all the advertisements for the game, just the main antagonist that he always had in his mind, that followed him pretty much everywhere he went, just finally getting rid of him for good. I mean, oh my god, dude, definitely one of the most satisfying things, definitely, to ever come out in this game. One of the most satisfying moments I've ever had, personally. But anyways, that's why I think the Malistaire dungeon is super duper iconic. Not quite as good, you know, as the #1 spot, in my opinion, but we'll get to that. Which brings me to my next point. Let's go there. And there you have it, folks. The #1 iconic dungeon in this game, in my opinion, Darkmoor. Darkmoor will always just hold the most special place in my heart. Definitely one of the greatest dungeons inside of this game overall. I just love it so much. I love everything about it. When this dungeon was first released back in 2014, like, I just remember going in it for the first time and being like, oh my god, like, this is an actual challenge. This is the biggest challenge we've had in so many years, and the gear was insane, and people were just going crazy over it. It was crazy. It truly was insane what KingsOwl had accomplished with the making of Darkmoor. Just amazing dungeon design, amazing dungeon story, a perfect end to Malistaire's conclusion, literally Malistaire Part 3, I guess, if you kind of count that little Azteca storyline with him, I suppose, but a perfect end to Malistaire's saga. Yes, they kind of beat him like a dead horse, but with the way that they did his story, I think it definitely made sense for the kind of character that he was, and what he was trying to accomplish. It was just great. It was just so great. Similar to Waterworks, up until the point when Darkmoor was released, we never had really seen gear that was actually this good, and the fact that just so many people still farm this dungeon to this very day to hopefully get their hands on some of that precious Malistaire gear, I mean, that's got to say something about the dungeon. I'm sure people have replayed it for the story too. This dungeon definitely has tons of replayability. Some people probably replay it more than they honestly would like to, but that's besides the point. You know, it brings in the players. Overall, though, I think this dungeon just does a super, oh my god, it's just so good. It does a super good job at what it's trying to accomplish with the story, with the gear. It's just amazing. It's all amazing. I seriously cannot think of any negatives of Darkmoor besides maybe the people that you go into the dungeon with, but besides that, definitely just the most iconic dungeon in this game, and probably will be for quite some time. But anyways, that is going to be it for this video. I really hope you guys did enjoy. Now, this is definitely an opinionated list. I'm not, you know, necessarily claiming all of this to be fact, even though, yeah, I feel like a lot of it is. But I want to hear your guys' opinions down in the comments below, so definitely leave a like if you did enjoy, though, or subscribe if you're new and you want to see more videos like this one. Yeah, let me know if you guys are enjoying these, though, because I'm having a lot of fun doing them. But let me know your opinions once again, though, in the comments down below. I do want to reiterate that point just because I feel like you guys have a lot to say on topics like these, and I would honestly love to hear. I would love to hear what you have to say. So that's going to be all from me, everybody. I will see you guys in the next video or stream, whenever that may be. So take care, everyone, and peace out.